This was, I always say cameras don't do justice to me. Yeah, no, my beard was bigger. My beard was bigger. I was standing at the office.
صلى على محمد وآل محمد. So this part of the program is designated to asking questions on the discussion we've had. There are a couple of written questions I have. Inshallah, I'll come to them. I have my own questions, but I'll give priority first for anybody who has a question they would like to ask at the moment. Is anybody here who would like to ask a question? We can hand the mic out to you and you can ask it. Anybody? Well, let's start where has the hand up. And, go on, sure.
You said that the youth should have a trade, like that was a good thing for them to do in their free time to keep their faith strong. But could you go like a bit more in depth with that, like what that, some like examples maybe of a trade and how it will benefit you in the long run?
Okay. That was my question. I was saying that it occupies your free time. So doing something, I was reading through a blog or something that the generation that is growing up now, your generation, people who are under 20, more than 60% of the jobs have not yet been created that you will be doing. When 40, 50 years ago people said things like that, no one believed. But in the past 30 years, we have seen the technology and things have changed. I have seen so many businesses go out, so many jobs have now finished, and things have changed. I have seen that in the eastern countries, in Africa, they had animals, horses and donkeys, that they would use for carriages, for farming and everything. It's been replaced by machinery. Likewise, so many other things are happening. I can count. So you need to acquire and learn new things. And some of the trades, little things that people do. When the online businesses that came in, many people, it was, I remember in the 90s, it was something new and everyone was apprehensive. Will it really work? And today, a lot of the big businesses are saying that you don't exist if you're not online. You don't have the business if you're not online. If you want to be competing with some of the big names, you have no competition. Okay. So you can do little things. I'll very quickly give you two examples. A lot of the poor people go to Africa, go to subcontinent, Asia, even some of the Eastern European countries. They have their children who work for people, child labor. Okay, my son or daughter will work in your house. And they, you just give some small wages. So it's common in Pakistan, especially in Punjab. Now I went to some parts and they said in our area no one works in the, none of the children work in the houses of people. I said, why not? How did you get that? He said, because we have Sialkot, the whole area. He said, because we have three big industries. Sports industry, all of the stitching of the, they make all the sports apparatus. Yes, the sports goods, dressing, cricket ball, baseball, basket, all of those are made in Pakistan and Sialkot. Now China's come in, but they still can't compete with Sialkot. I didn't know that. Likewise, they said medical apprentice is made here. So even girls as big as 10, 11, 12 can work at home. We can just supply them with the material, the thread and everything. And so, you know, there are still so many things that people can do from home. And online, there are so many opportunities. I've recently seen some of the people that I visited from nothing to so many things. And recently there was a young boy who creativity, you know, he created something and he is now multimillionaire. So there are so many trades out there. So I don't want to specify, but I want you to explore opportunities and also look at the different bloggers who are saying that what are the next opportunities coming in. We want to be 2 steps ahead, and that will put you into a better position to acquire new. But trading is now very vast. People are now trading from home. I know some ladies who have no education, but they have some of the biggest businesses. No education, but entrepreneurs. So this lady, she says that I buy dress from. She brings in dresses from Pakistan. Another lady just from India. They're both friends, and they sell them here from home. Can you imagine? Things like that. So there are so many things that you can do. So you don't have to be very highly educated. In fact, all of the big business people have not been very educated. Majority of them just good entrepreneurs, not education. More than 80%. In fact, a friend of mine, who is a very high education person, he said that I went back to see all of my friends, and all the people who were top students are either teaching or working for big companies where other people are making money from them. And all the people who we thought were failures are now directors of big companies. So it is not necessarily education that will get you, it is the idea that gets you to somewhere. Okay.
But you're not suggesting anyone should stop their education?
Never. I'm encouraging people to go into education. Education opens up many, many avenues. Education gives you the freedom of mind. Blind following, it stops you from blind following. It opens up so many different questions that arise, that this is not right and this is right. Education open up that right and wrong phase. Okay? So there are many, many things that education does that without education you will not be able to do. The right and wrong is taught in education.
So that answers your question. Okay. It's good you mentioned that at the end, because there are many young people here who are choosing the next step in education. They're choosing GCSEs, or they're choosing A-level, or choosing degree, and there are many considerations they should think of. What's going to make you money? What's a good profitable at the moment? These things. What questions does our religion ask of us to take when we're choosing what to study?
Okay. What is, Imam Ali Islam says, do not impose on your children the teachings of your own time. Things will change. It has happened all the time. It will continue to happen. Okay. Some things always remain in business. Some professions always remain in business. Can I mention a few? Number 1, can anyone help me? Trading always. Teaching. Religious. Okay, it's a trade. You're making people religious. Medicine, doctors. Who said doctors? Doctors, medical profession will always remain. Ever since, human beings have existed, illness, pain, and all of those remain. And medical profession will always remain. Okay, so there are so many professions that will never finish, but things will be modified. Okay, so teaching is something very. I always emphasize 2 things we should never ever put aside. Even farming has never finished. It will never finish. People have modified so many things, and so much has come in. It will never finish. They say some of the most sacred things is to do farming. Because Anbiya alayhi salam did that, Aimma alayhi salam did that. Yes? Okay? 2 things are extremely important. Never leave them aside. 1, education. 2, economy. Always remember these 2 things. Education and economy. They always control things. Past 8 centuries, at least 6 centuries, you know who's controlled these 2 things? Who said that? Did everyone hear it? I don't want to repeat it. Can you just say? They've controlled education and economy. Did you know that? They control that. Very small in number, but extremely talented in these two trades. Education, they say your parents may make you a Muslim and your teacher will make you an atheist. Okay? Sometimes they say your parents bring you from there to here and your teachers take you from here back to the heavens. Okay? So your teachers are extremely important. Teachers are extremely important. So education and economy do control the world. These two things do control the world. Okay? So please never ever put them aside. Imam Ali says to his son Muhammad Hanafiya, I'm very satisfied with my training. I've done the best job a father can do. But I'm only concerned about one thing. Don't always remain poor. Poverty can take you all the way up to disbelief. God hasn't given it to me. You don't never say, I was lazy, I never worked hard, I never got a good job, I never wanted to put the hours in, I never put them up. No, you always blame, you want to. And even if you get it with, haram, you get the haram money, you don't say, oh, this is haram. You always say, Hadha min fadli Rabbi, this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You never say, oh, I was selling it. So they say that wealth makes you believe sometimes, and poverty makes you a disbeliever. Imam Ali says that. Okay? So these two things, don't put them aside. A lot of the religious people say, oh, become godly, you won't take anything, but you become a disbeliever. Your children will say, what have you done in life for me to live up to you? Okay? So poverty is not a good thing. Sorry, I went on and on.
So much. Thank you. Was there another hand here, or maybe in the sister side? Any questions? There was a hand here. Was there a question here?
Yes. Go. Did you all hear the question? Okay. How do you, I said we need to organize ourselves. How do you organize? What are the ways of organizing the middle order? Okay. Do you know that recently one of the European prime ministers, without saying her name, without saying the name of the country, you know what she said? Have you seen the BBC Hard Talk? I don't want to mention the channel, but I'm not mentioning it. Usually they ask touching questions, and so he said to her that, what was the solution? You EU prime ministers, presidents, and foreign ministers had a meeting. She said, nothing came out of it. Oh, and you're a prime minister, you're saying that? She said, yes, it was a failure. The meeting was a failure. So he said, why do you say that? She said, because there are no leaders in Europe now. He said, including you? She said, yes, there are no ideas. Economically, we're going bankrupt. If there were any political or economic leaders, they would have emerged. There is no political or economical leader. Why aren't they still collapsing? Because the previous generations have left very good infrastructure and organizational structure. Two things are extremely important. Infrastructure are, buildings, houses, the offices and the roads and everything. Yes, infrastructure is extremely important. The Foreign Office has 20 branches. There are all of these different offices working together. That's how it works. That's infrastructure. Organizational structure, who is in charge, who is answerable, who is responsible, who does what. That's organizational structure. So I believe that these two things are extremely important. If we want to sustain as a community, a number of things are very important. They say that if your birth rate is below 2.4%, 2.4, it's not called 2.4%, it's called 2.4. In stats, if it is below 2.4 birth rate, then that creed will finish. Because for every 2 people, if you only have 2, and there are obviously people dying, so with death rate and everything, stats prove that anyone who is below, the lower you are, the quickly you will finish. You will completely eliminate. Likewise, if you don't have entrepreneurs, business people, educated, people who are educationalists, professionals, that population will finish. You don't need enemies. If you have all youth in a population that are gangsters and I can't think of bad words. I don't want to give respect. They are who are away from education, away from community development. That community doesn't need enemies. You don't need someone from outside to come and shoot and kill you. That community will die anyway. They will be slaves. They will be controlled, their minds and so you don't need enemies. Okay? I need your generation to lead my and make decisions for me once I'm dying or when I'm retired. Yes, so I need people who are intelligent, educated, religious, visionary to make all of those decisions. So we need people who are in all of those. So people who have the infrastructure, people who have organizational structure, and people who understand what decisions are to be made. Okay, so they get the proper training, get the proper education, and they come and lead. These are the things that that's what I'm saying when I'm referring to organizing communities, organization. These are the things that I'm referring to. And there are many other things to it. But these are components.
Is that answering your question?
My question is, how did Sheikh Zakzaki rise from ranks from where he started to the position he reached now? How did it all begin?
Okay, very briefly, Sheikh Zakzaki was a student leader. He wasn't a religious student leader. He was a religious leader. He was a student leader in a university. He was dynamic. He was all about rights, all about being upright. Against the corruption, and in the 70s. And then during his term, the Islamic Revolution in Iran happened. He went as a student leader to see what was happening in Iran, converted, became a Shia. The whole thing started. Then he went back for education, came back in I think 1986 or 87, he came back to Nigeria. He started the whole movement himself. He wasn't the major leader then. It was, I think, Sheikh Idris Tijani at the time in the 90s. And slowly Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki was emerging. And you see, I have this question. Many times, do people really know and understand what impact they will have on the community, or will they be able to make that change? Or they don't realize that many of you don't even know what impact you may be having in the community 10 years, 20 years down the line. And you never prepare yourself. When I came back from Iran, 1998, I used to say, I came back as a very good worker. I would prove to be an excellent, like a worker, not as a leader. Unfortunately, a year to two after coming back, I think within 2 years, I had realized that no, a leader was needed here, not a worker. I was going to prove to be a best follower. So don't ever prepare yourselves for lower, always aim for the top things. It's okay, he's fine. Okay, never ever prepare for something low. Even if you prepare for yourself for a top job, if you're sincere, if a lower position comes, you will serve. But if you prepare for a low, like capacity industrious worker, and a higher position was needed, you would always feel, I'm not fit for the job. Okay, so you have to prepare yourself for the top. And if you are not fit, if there are other people who are better than you, then you will quickly step down and say, okay, you lead, and I'll follow. Okay, sincere people are like that. So Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki over the years has worked very hard. Martin Luther, 4 centuries ago, not Martin Luther King, the American black people's rights movement. 4 centuries ago, Sheikh Muhammad Mutahari, Allama Iqbal, they've all asked questions. Did he really understand the impact he was going to have on church? No, I don't. They say that we don't think he understood. You see, sometimes people don't even know the consequences of what they're doing. Yes? So sometimes you may have the greater impact that you don't even anticipate. You don't even think I will be able to make that impact. Sometimes leaders are born who are sincere. I believe that Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki has the endorsement from 12th Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looked at his pure intentions and gave him the success that he has, not because he wanted to become a leader, but because he wanted to serve. And Allah gave him that opportunity to lead. Okay? And I have always seen that all successful leaders were like that. Very poor background, very simple, modest, down to earth, and suddenly they emerge. Okay? Any other questions?
It's a very morbid question, right? But why have they kept him alive if they killed his children? Because end of the day he's spreading Shiism. So why have they kept him? I mean, it's good. I mean, it's not a bad thing. But why have they kept him going when he martyred his family?
Well, they do want to make him an example, a bad example. That look, if this is what we would do to you.
Okay.
They want him to be alive and but fortunately for us and unfortunately for them. Fortunately for us, but he is inspiring more and more people. Look how strongly he gave that interview. Did you see his recent interview? There was no regret, no weakness. He didn't feel, oh, I've lost everything. He wasn't weak, strong. A powerful man from inside, even though he's physically now weak, but very strong spirit, and that's his motivation. Many times, they treat you bad, that you become weak, and I have seen people speaking very highly of themselves, taken in within a few months, they're saying, I'll sign any papers, in tears, broken up. And when I spoke to some of the people and I said, don't talk to me, I've signed papers and I'm not going to take any part in any political activities. So I'm now retired. I couldn't believe it. That has happened in many countries. Okay? I believe that he is a great inspiration. He is very strong.
Maybe also if you would have created a very unresting situation
within Nigeria.
Yeah.
Internationally as well.
The government would have been toppled there. So
maybe they learned from Sheikh Nimr's.
Well, I don't want to analyze it, but I do believe that within Nigeria, the Shias are strong. So they are not like many other countries where, if you kill 200 people, the rest will say, okay, let's go home. Nigerian people are strong. So, alhamdulillah, they have continuously proved even in his absence.
And he attracts huge followership.
I mean, even in his absence, for Ashura and Arba'in, it hasn't gone down. It has developed further. So I don't think that they are in a position to eliminate him. That if we'll start off huge riots and other African countries, internationally as well, will give Nigerian government a very bad name. Nigeria is at the moment struggling financially because of the oil prices. So some of the foreign countries that are giving the aid will determine the future policies.
It's interesting that when Allah chooses someone for leadership, often they struggle a lot as part of that responsibility. So we've seen that many times. There's a question which was written, which is very much closely linked to this topic. To what extent should people who are not scholars or not mu'ammam accept leadership?
I think it's important that you do take leadership roles, but we all should know our shortcomings. Even though I'm mu'ammam, I have shortcomings. There are things I cannot do, things I cannot accomplish, things I will not be able to do. I should know my own position. I should know my shortcomings. Everyone should know their shortcomings. I'm not able to give fatwa, then do not give fatwa. I'm not able to make certain decisions without help, then everyone should know. So there is no harm in taking any leadership position. So long as you know your own shortcomings and you know that, okay, I can make certain decisions, but certain decisions I need help with. A leader is a good leader who is not arrogant, who sits down and listens to others and takes advice from other people. It is not, oh, because I'm a leader, so I cannot now take advice. No, I need more advice. One of the Maraja in Najaf, Marhum Sheikh Murtada Ansari, he used to always go to one of the elderly scholars who was not as learned as him, but he was older than him. He said, please admonish me. He said, but you are a Marja Taqlid, I can't. He said, but you are older than me. I have no other person to go to, refer to. I don't want to feel that I am big. I want someone to admonish me, so I still feel that I am. And I think that is very important. Okay, the worst leader is he who has, in Farsi there's the word chaplus, khushamad, khushamadi in Urdu we say. What do you say that? Sorry? Yeah, people who always praise you and say, oh, you are so good. What do you call them? Sorry? Yeah, buttering. They always butter. Yeah, they will never. Sorry? Flatterers. Who will never tell you these are your faults. The worst leader is he who only likes the people who flatter him all the time. Oh, that's such a good decision. That was so good performance. And when he's gone, he's so rubbish. What is he talking about? He doesn't know what he's talking about. So, if you are an advisor to someone, say it to his face. They say a lot of the people made a big mess because they had not good advisors, but because people felt he's the leader or she is the queen, she's the princess. How do I look? Oh, beautiful. She doesn't even know how to dress. What an idiot. You needed to say to her face, so at least she understood that. Okay? A lot of the people don't do that. This is what you need to do. If you're in an advisory position, I don't allow people in my group to say perfect everything. What do you see? What are the faults? So that's how you learn and progress. And unfortunately, a lot of the leaders don't like that. And I think that's the key for success. Not that you take a position and you say, I'm not for it. No. Have a good team of people who like it. So you can be a person who doesn't wear an amama, but you can and lead, but certain things you can't do. You should know your own shortcomings. Okay? Sorry.
The person who wrote that question, if you would like to follow up, then please raise your hand and you can. Any other questions as well on here?
The question is just leading off the point where you said about the hardcore liberal activist on social media. So I gathered who you were talking about. My question is that I've come across similar situations in university life and up to now working life, where liberalistic ideas and even atheism is approaching within the Pakistani community as well. And mostly the liberals who criticize the fundamentals of our religion, the most basic, they have some sort of criticism about it. The question is, how do we answer those who are coming from within us and criticizing the basic fundamentals of our religion? I mean, they're aware of it, but they just have some sort of criticism. How do we approach it? Do we approach it in the same manner we approach an atheist or maybe a non-Muslim who's a liberal? What's the method of approaching it in a sensible manner?
My personal methodology is that many times you do not address a person by their name, and you do not address that this person is wrong. You always address the ideology or the idea, and you don't criticize the person, you criticize the ideology. That is better in terms of reactions. So the person doesn't feel that it's me who's been criticized. They understand it, but they say, oh, he didn't say to me. And the community or the people who are friends and in that circle don't feel that you have been direct. So generally, if they are from within the community, then you have to be very careful in how you address that. But it is important that we do address some of those issues. Secondly, it is extremely important that we truly understand the issues ourselves. A lot of the times, people who, even from the times of the Imams, Imam Sadiq Islam says to one of his students, I trained you in theology. Why are you now jumping into jurisprudence? Or he says to one of the people in jurisprudence that you are trained in jurisprudence, why are you going into tafsir or in theology? A lot of our people don't understand that they are not expert in everything. But we're very quick to give opinions. Even if you stay in a masjid or in a friendship circle, I've got a headache, everyone will tell you what to eat. And you say, any one of you doctors? No, I had a headache, but this is what I had, and why don't you eat this, or why don't you take that medicine? So everyone is very quick to give, So many people think that it's only in religion. People are very quick to give. No, people are just quick to give decisions about everything. I have about this. Oh, let me tell you how to do it. So it is important that you take the advice from the right people, and the right people know when to speak. Dual ignorance is the worst ignorance. When you don't even know that you don't know. Did everyone get that? So I think that's one of the problems that we have in our community. Dual ignorance. So that we shouldn't do.
Any questions? Don't say they were not fair. Any questions then from the brother? I have some written down, but I want to take people to ask.
Is the last question?
Anyone else has a question after Zaman? Because he's an appropriate person to ask the last question. Okay, then Zaman, and then the written question, and then we'll finish.
A question concerning for all those who might be here and watching on the live stream, who might be thinking about going Qom Najaf to become ulama. What kind of people with what certain skills or personality traits would you advise to go and become ulama?
Very good question, but very difficult question. Okay.
That's it last.
I'm going to be brief on this. I think the first and the foremost, the most important quality is that it should be a person who is sincere. If you are there for the wrong reasons, you will never be successful, and even if you come back, you will always be complaining. So this line is all about sacrifice. It is not a profession like you become a doctor, engineer, a businessman. I'm not earning enough, I'm not getting enough, I'm not making enough money. Okay? It is about sacrifices. It's all about sacrifices. When I was in Qom, we got 12 pounds a month. That was our, and now it's about 50, 60 pounds for the married couples. Okay? So there's a lot of hardships. Okay? So you need to be mentally prepared that it is all about sacrifices. The first time, the electricity came to Najaf, a student came running and said, "Aha, Mubarak, Mubarak." I think it was the time of Adil Hassan Isfahani. Most of the Maraji in Najaf were all Iranians. He said, "Ah, Mubarak." He said, "Calm down. What Mubarak for what?" He said, "Electricity is coming to Najaf." He said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un." He said, "You didn't hear me right. Electricity, we'll have lights." He said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi." He said, "No, we'll have bulbs and tube light, He said, "Yes." He said, "I understand. What are you thinking? I don't understand electricity." And he repeated it 4 or 5 times. And why are you saying Inna Lillahi? I said, till now, only sincere people were coming to Najaf. The ones who could live with the hardship. But now the people say, "Oh, there is light in Najaf, let's go to Najaf." Who can live in a village? So if you have the pure intention for the sacrifices, for the hardships, then go to Najaf, or whatever, religious education. Religious education means sacrifices. You may earn, you may not. But if you can sacrifice, then go. You don't need to be talented. We have had people who were extremely on the lower end of skills, and they wrote some of the best books ever. And we've had geniuses come to the Hausa, leave with nothing, because intentions are not pure. Allama Majlisi was a genius. He had 2 son-in-laws, Sayyid Ni'matul Jazairi and Muhammad Salih Mazandarani. Muhammad Salih Mazandarani did not have a good memory, was not very highly skilled, and he wrote one of the best commentaries on Usul al-Kafi. Can you imagine? He was gifted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will give you the tawfiq. It's all about sincere intentions. Did I explain myself? Did I answer it? Yes?
So, I think that concludes our discussion. The question had already been answered that I was going to read from. Before we ask Sayyid to finish with some dua, there's 2 quick announcements. Number 1, our Aslam uncle's father's not well, so for his shifa, please recite the Salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Second is announcement for Ashraf Fatimi and Idara Jafriya from the 10th to 19th of February. 10th to 14th, there'll be English lectures from Maulana Abbas Mirza, who's a teacher of mine and very, very well respected scholar. 15th to 19th February, Urdu lectures, Maulana Hassan Abbas Rizvi, so somebody who I have great love and respect for. Please do attend in these programs, and of course, this event is monthly reflections. Next month, inshallah, we'll return and consider the following month's issues. I think there's somebody else who's doing for next month, but we will of course call Sayyid whenever he's in the country, inshallah, for our session. And we thank him very much for taking part. Sayyid, if you could say some du'as and finish, inshallah.
I wanted to make one request. The local council elections are coming this year. Fine, our Marajis here do not get into the federal government, but local governments, local council elections are coming May 2018. So all over the country, we are encouraging people to become councillors. I know it is very low paid job, but very low hours. You only have 4 hours, 4 or 5 days a week or something like that. So I do encourage young people, men and women, young boys and girls, to get into different parties and try and become councillors. Most of the budget from the MPs come to the councillors. They disperse. All of the decisions are there. And unfortunately, we only have about 7 or 8 Shia councillors, and there are about 700-800 Muslim councillors in the country. Out of the 7,000, 8,000, about 700-800 Muslim councillors, and only 7 or 8 Shia councillors. So we need more representation in the country. So we're encouraging people to become, in London and surrounding areas it will be more difficult, but in outside, please do encourage your friends to become members of the parties and become councillors. It does help in understanding some of the local politics. So please, I encourage that. Let's make du'as. Oh Allah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. إلهي بأخص صفاتك وبعز جلالك وبأعظم أسمائك وبعصمة أنبيائك وبنور أوليائك وبدم شهدائك وبمداد علمائك وبدعاء صلحائك وبمناجاة فقرائك نسألك زيادة في العلم وصحة في الجسم وطول في العمر في طاعتك وسعة في الرزق وتوبة قبل الموت وراحة عند الموت ومغفرة بعد الموت ونورا في القبر ونجاة من النار ودخولا في الجنة وعافية من كل بلاء الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة بحق محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Oh Allah, for the sake of Imam Hussain al-Islam, hasten in the reappearance of the 12th Imam al-Islam. Oh Allah, protect all of our ulama, especially Sheikh Ibrahim Zakir. Oh Allah, there are many people, mu'mineen across the globe that are suffering from different illnesses, and give them all health. Many people have asked us to pray for them, oh Allah, accept the du'as of all the mu'mineen. Oh Allah, there are holy sites under attack, protect all of our holy sites. Oh Allah, especially in Iraq and Syria, protect all of our holy sites. Oh Allah, there are many enemies continuously attacking, especially Daesh, Taliban and ISIS would destroy them. Oh Allah, protect all the different groups of the Muslims that are struggling at the moment, especially in Iraq and Syria and Palestine, in Bahrain, Yemen, in Myanmar, in Nigeria, Kashmir, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and other parts of the world. Allah, protect all of them. Allah, accept the services of all the people that are serving in the center. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم بحق محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.